Wash your half. I have 3 older sisters. And the middle one, Pat, passed away a few years ago. I was thinking about her this weekend. And remembered a story that I believe fits here. When we were kids, we had chores that we had to do around the house. The oldest two, Judy and Pat, had to do the dinner dishes. This was back when dishwashers were a luxury item most families couldn't even dream of. Judy, being the oldest, would try to manipulate things so she got off light. Generally, this meant Pat would have to wash and rinse, while Judy would dry and put away. The washing, and particularly scrubbing of pre-Teflon pots and pans, was a real task. And finally Pat complained enough that Mom and Dad stepped in and said the work needed to be equally divided. If one washed and rinsed one night, the other would the next night. Well, Judy didn't like that, so she offered an alternative. Each of them would wash, dry and put away half of the dishes. That was deemed acceptable, so the first night Judy went first, doing barely enough to qualify as half, and leaving all the heavy scrubbing to Pat. The next night, Pat went first, and the malicious compliance began. With Mom watching, Pat carefully washed and dried exactly half of the dishes, the bottoms of all the plates, the handles of all the utensils, and the outsides of all the bowls, glasses, pots and pans. When she finished, Mom smiled and agreed that she'd done her half, and sent for Judy, who had to wash all the tops and insides, and if some soap and water got on the part Pat had cleaned, well, that was Judy's fault. She had to clean what she messed up. After that, they did the dishes together, and alternated who washed and who dried. TLDR. Oh come on. This is really short. Take a minute. Sheesh. I smiled when I read your story. I'm sorry for your loss. Ah yes. Sibling squabbling. When I was 10, my sister, cousins and I all shared a room on a vacation. My sister and one cousin were older, both around 14, and my other cousin was closer, 11, to my age. Of course we quickly formed age-based alliances, with the older ones trying to boss us younger ones around. When they complained about the state of our shared room and insisted that we at least clean up our half, the malicious compliance was cued. After tidying up our own things, we carefully swept only our exact half, leaving a clear demarcation line of dirt down the middle. The best part, to my 10-year devious mind, was that we took the hand-hooked round rug in the middle of the room, straightened the folds and wrinkles out of our side, and added a few to their side for good measure. Actually, the best part of it was that those alliances still hold, although we are all now in our 60s. Haha. I love your TLDR. I remember hand-washing dishes at home and hating it, and then a few years later I got a job as a dishwasher at a restaurant and learned that home dishwashing wasn't much work at all, comparatively. I had a friend whose parents had all the nice toys. I used to help her load the dishwasher when I stayed over. I asked my parents if we could also get a dishwasher. My mom told me that we had very good dishwasher. Me. Hardy har har. Mom. I may have a dishes story myself. Not sure it's malicious compliance, but it's definitely karma and petty. Washing dishes was my chore growing up. It took like a few hours daily since there was 6 of us. Also at the time we didn't have a dishwasher. After my fiancé, now wife, started living with me at my parents' house while we looked for an apartment. For several months waiting for the keys to our apartment, we would keep the kitchen clean. I would even run the dishwasher just to be nice and courteous. My father would complain he was the only one who ever cleaned up anywhere and that people should Stop putting dishing in the sink and in the dishwasher. He even said if the dishes are clean in the dishwasher, to just empty it and put dirty dishes in it. That's the general basis of where this story takes place. Now my mother left to visit my Grammy, Mom's mother, and took my sister and fiancé with her. I don't remember if both my brothers were there or not, but they are irrelevant to the story. However, I had loaded the dishwasher and ran it as my mother was finishing getting ready. She even thanked me for cleaning the kitchen while she was getting ready to go. You see, a little context. My pop, Mom's father, had died months back from where this story took place. But she would constantly go up to visit Grammy to make sure she's alright and everything. It was hard on everyone, really. Literally, the next day my dad complained that the kitchen was dirty. Me. I literally cleaned it yesterday and the dishes I washed had not been unloaded yet. Dad. Doesn't matter. Besides, I've done it almost every day. Me. You didn't do it yesterday and my fiancé and I have been cleaning the kitchen like 4 times a week. If not at least a third of the time still living here. Dad. I highly doubt that's true. Me. In that case it shouldn't matter if I don't do any cleaning in the kitchen all week. Dad. Yeah, it won't. I'll just end up doing it. After the dishwasher finished doing its thing, I took a picture of the inside and left the door to it shut. Now a little bit more context. At this point I was still working and I don't eat a lot. I just snacked and did my own thing the whole week. To even make my point across, I didn't use a single dish. When my mother finally came back, I was calling into the kitchen. So I went from the bedroom I was sleeping into the kitchen where my mother was. For this next part, I should mention we had 2 houses on the property. One with a functional kitchen and bathroom. The other without one. I was living in the one without the functional kitchen and bathroom. Mom. I want you to do the dishes. Me. Has the dishwasher been emptied? Mom. No. But I need you to clean your dishes. Me. I haven't used dishes all week. So they aren't mine. Mom. They were from the other house. From your room. Me. They were definitely not. Who told you that? Mom. Your father. I then opened the dishwasher and chuckled slightly. I pulled out my phone and showed her the photo and the date. The dishwasher had not been emptied since I did it a week ago. Funny how my dad complained about it yet didn't do dishes all week. And before you comment about my dad, we are still on good terms. But putting a 1-up on him was a pretty nice feeling. I read the title and then it was relating to dishes and thought immediately of washing only half of each item. Though I was thinking more of the left and right versus the top and bottom. This is exactly the type of petty sibling tomfoolery that permeated my childhood with my brother. We are so much better now, but it makes me laugh to think back on it. This was a great read. Glad your mom was on Pat's side. And hard agree on the TLDR. Why are you even in subs like this if you're not going to actually read the posts? Seems pretty silly to me. Reminded me of a story about my sisters. One would have to wash and the other dry. My older sister would wash and my younger sister would just wait for everything to air dry and just put them away. This annoyed my older sister, so she would pour cold water over the dishes in the drying rack to make her little sister have to actually dry them. Gotta love petty sibling behavior. TLDR. Oh come on. This is really short. Take a minute. Sheesh. The story was great, but this one deserves its own vote button. I wish I could upvote your TLDR. Sounds like it could have been out of Malcolm in the Middle. The episode where they're sharing a large fry. So they're measuring each fry so they can divide it equally. That's a really great memory. Score 1 for the middle child. That's great laughing face. Ha 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 ha. This was sheer genius. Thank you for sharing. Nice and wholesome. I just lost my sister a few weeks ago. This closely described our nightly chores. I am smiling with a tear in my eye. OMFG, I died. That is too funny. Exactly something one of my siblings would do. What a great memory. Thank you for sharing this. My aunt told me this story about when she and my mom were kids. They had to wash and dry the dishes. They'd get in a fight. Always instigated by my aunt. The baby. She would get sent to her room for starting the fight. But she'd talk to my mom while my mom continued for wash and dry the dishes. Through the grate in the ceiling of the kitchen floor of the bedroom. My aunt would always say, "Ha ha. You have to do all the dishes." And then when my mom was done, my grandmother would tell my aunt to come out of her room. My mom would get mad, but there wasn't much my mom could do. Then she discovered that she could go places that her sister could not.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.